Good morning, Latter-day Saints. I love you. I love Latter-day Saints. We love Latter-day Saints. And we prepared a banger of an episode on this Monday morning for you. A lot has happened in the past week and over the weekend as we've been out of town. And some things that we're going to be covering are some fun things happened during the BYU game on Saturday, besides BYU catching another dub and Tanner Wall getting another interception. He's such a beast. He's such a beast. But anyways, we're going to talk about some trash talk that was had during the game and how BYU fans savagely responded preemptively to these chants that were pretty derogatory towards our religion. But we're going to be also talking about an announcement that was released on Friday about 18-year-old sisters now being able to serve missions, why there are no Saturday sessions on General Conference anymore. And in our featured story, a new class is being presented at And in our featured story, a new high school class is being introduced across the state in Utah. And it's pretty disturbing. And I'm so curious to hear your thoughts about it. All this and more. My name is Jackson Wayne Paul, and welcome to Latter-day Saints. All right, good morning, and we're so glad to be back. We had a ball of a time. The reason I said I love Latter-day Saints so much, for many reasons, but Brandon and I just got off a boat with a bunch of Latter-day Saints.
I feel like the world is still rocking.
Dude, I'm getting ghost sways all day, every day. The last day we were on the ship, on the cruise ship, it was so wavy, and it was nice getting rocked to sleep, but it was making me nauseous. Anyways, we had a heck of a time. Brandon, pull up that picture that we took with the whole crew on the ship. Look at that.
Woo!
Look at that.
Oh, man. Just 5 dudes surviving Mormonism.
Exactly. Just surviving Mormonism. Having to wear the most ugly matching orange shirts ever that our wives, our beautiful wives, emphasis on wives being that we all have wives.
We all have one
multiple wives,
spouse.
Okay?
Yeah.
We have one spouse, okay? But I want to highlight that guy in the middle there with the raised eyebrow, Dave Butler. This morning we were driving down to the studio. It's 4:30 in the morning. Brandon texts me. He's like, "Yo, do you have the key fob to get into the building?" I'm like, "No, Hayden has it." And I've already passed his house. And so I text Dave Butler at 4:33 in the morning. I'm like, "No chance you're awake right now." And he's like, "Yeah, what's up?" Showered, changed, met us at the studio, opened it up for us. So God bless Mr. Mustard Man, D. John Butler. Okay. But anyways, let's get right into it. All right. Let's get right into it with this tweet from Jacob Hansen. Okay. We're not going to play the video for you, but essentially at the Cincinnati game versus BYU, it was at Cincinnati. A chant rang out, the first time it's ever been chanted in a public setting at a BYU sports game. Not true, and we're going to show you how not true that is. But basically, it's quoting a tweet from Ben Criddle saying, "Another F, blah, 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 the Mormons chant emerges now at Cincinnati game versus BYU." And then Jacob Hansen says, "Must be another Saturday. Imagine chanting blank the Jews or blank the Muslims. But to be fair, the Midwest has always been kind of rough place for the LDS. What with the extermination order and all."
Yeah, not the worst thing to happen to us in Ohio.
In the Midwest, exactly, dude. And so, first reactions, I'm not surprised. And honestly, this might be wrong, but I'm not even bothered by this.
Keep it coming, baby.
Is that a bad thing to say, Brando?
Yeah, you sick freak.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awful.
Persecution. No, but honestly, like at this point, it's just like, because, yeah, if you think about it, if you literally replaced Mormons with any other religious group, Catholics, blank the Catholics, Muslims, Jews, Baptists, anyone else, it would be a national story. There would be people fired. Like, the double standard is just absolutely insane. And I've tried to just think about and understand why the Latter-day Saints are just fair game to be dunked on perpetually. Why
we could do like a 5-hour episode.
We could do a 5-hour episode. But seriously, it kind of in a way does go back to the extermination order from Governor Boggs back in Missouri, where basically Mormons were just fair game to slaughter, to kill. And
now they do it with words.
Yes, kind of. But it's just interesting because you have all the stuff from South Park and the Book of Mormon musical, where like being a member of the church has just kind of been memed to the point where everyone can just link arms and get around the fact that, I don't know, we're different than them, and so then they can chant these things like that.
Did you mention that BYU absolutely creamed Cincinnati in that game?
Yes, they did. And freaking, they did it in phenomenal fashion. It was amazing.
So Jackson, what was our preemptive response to this?
Here's the thing. We knew chants like this were going to ring out in the crowd over the game. And so to, stick it to them and respond back, you know what we did? Pull up that X post right there from Front Office Sports.
We declared war.
We declared war beforehand, so I'm not surprised that they chanted this during the game.
Yeah.
It says, before BYU's game against Cincinnati, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints donated 27,000 pounds of food to University of Cincinnati's on-campus food pantry. It's the biggest donation in the history of the pantry, which supports students facing food insecurity.
No wonder they were chanting that. No wonder. That's like a crime.
Dude, we were playing 4D chess right there. That's how BYU fans trash talk. Did you know that we just donate? We donate so much food, you don't even know how to handle it. Goodness gracious, bro. Can we just open up our Bibles for a second, bro? And here's the thing. Actually, after seeing this, I'm like, okay, this has already happened this season. I wonder actually how many times this has happened over the years. So, as you guys know, Colorado University at Boulder, they got slapped with a huge fine this year because of chanting, the same thing, F the Mormons. And then the university comes out and we're like, we strongly condemn the using of expletives and religious slurs by individuals in the stands during the recent game against BYU. Okay, thank you. And another thing they say, this doesn't reflect our values as a university. Great. Okay.
Thanks.
And then I just do, a Google search as in depth as I can. I probably missed a couple, but then I just start seeing this trend, okay? And if you just click through here, we have Arizona apologizes for derogatory chant directed at BYU. The same chant, okay? In February of 2025 this year against the basketball. And then you go and you see Oregon apologize to BYU fans for anti-Mormon chant during football game, September in 2020. And then we have USC issues apology after offensive chant during football game, November 2021. And then we have this thing happening in Stanford, which was wild. It says Stanford apologizes for band's offensive BYU halftime show. And I was like, what the heck happened during the halftime show?
I have no idea what this is.
Yeah, this was in 2022 in November. It says Stanford University Athletic Department issued a statement to BYU's student newspaper regarding a halftime show performed during Saturday's football game between the teams at Stanford Stadium, saying it did not reflect Stanford University's values of religious freedom and diversity, inclusion, and belonging. And it says, as reported by Deseret News, the stadium video board displayed wording that referenced the doctrine of eternal marriage held by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the institution that sponsors BYU, during the halftime show. The show involved a pair of women being married to each other, with the officiator using terms and phrases taken from sacred temple ceremonies within the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
What?
And then you scroll down, And that tweet by Jackson Payne says, Stanford just had a skit during halftime called Gay Chicken, involving two women getting married for time and all eternity and then being told to be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth.
Okay, that just got super unfunny super fast.
What the heck, bro? What the heck is that? Like, imagine taking any other religion's sacred liturgy that they use during some sort of religious ceremony or other ordinance and mocking it in the middle of a football game. Like, imagine.
I just don't think they know, dude. I don't think they know how sacred it is to us. They don't take the time to know, therefore it's easy to clown on.
Yeah, but again, going back to my first reaction, like, I don't care, honestly. I don't care. And I love people showing their true colors. I love it, actually. It's so fun to me. And I love having further opportunities to follow the admonition of Jesus Christ in Matthew chapter 5, verse 42. Now we'll do 43. It says, "Ye have heard that it hath been said, Thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you, that ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven, for he maketh his sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on the just and on the unjust. For if ye love them which love you, what reward have ye? Do not even the publicans the same? And if ye salute your brethren only, what do you have more than others? And do not even the publicans do so?" So he's basically saying, like, if you just love the people that are kind to you, that are nice to you, like, what is that? That's easy. That's easy to love the people that are kind to you. You need to love those that are not kind to you. And it's just so funny to me that, you know, could it be possible that in all of these 6 different instances, there was one more back in the day in 2011 with Jimmer Fredette, where they beat San Diego State University and they chanted, "You're still Mormon," and other stuff like that. It's not as bad. Again, all of it, I don't care. But it's possible that all of the people that have ever chanted these in these 6 reported incidences, right, that none of them are Christian. It's possible. Is it possible, Brandon?
I think so.
It's possible, okay, that not a single person that has chanted that is a Christian. Is it likely? I don't personally think so, because of, you know, all the other types of tropes and bigotry and hatred that's been shown towards the church from the Christian faith and sects. But it's just so interesting to me that I'm curious to see how they would interpret verses like this. In John chapter 14, verse 34, it says, "A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another as I have loved you, that ye also love one to another. By this shall all men know that ye are my disciples, if ye have love one to another." Clearly, Brandon, Jesus was just talking about loving the disciples, right? For the disciples to love one another, right?
Yeah.
Not anyone else,
don't
right?
love anyone else.
Exactly. No, obviously that's silly, right? One of the hallmarks of being a Christian is showing Christian love towards thy neighbor. Just like we read in the verse previous in Matthew, love those that curse you, bless those that curse you, love those that despitefully use you. And here's the thing, Latter-day Saints, it's proven by Pew Research, we are the most disliked Christian sect in America. And Latter-day Saints are the ones that have the most kind feelings towards other religions.
Boom.
We will link that study in the description. But it's just like, you know what?
Because here's the thing, it's only going to ramp up from here. Exactly. I think we know through scripture and prophecy that we will be continually called out and persecuted and it's only going to get worse. And so I think it's really important that you're sharing these verses to remind us how we need to respond.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly. Keep using your 4-dimensional chess trash talk, preemptive trash talk of donating 27,000 pounds of food to the university's food storage. Phenomenal. Anyways, moving on to a story that was released on Friday. Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay. If you want to pull up that LDS Newsroom article, it says women can now serve missions for the Church of Jesus Christ at age 18.
That is so fire, dude.
It says the First Presidency is pleased to announce that effective immediately, young women who choose to serve a full-time mission may begin their service at age 18 following graduation from high school or its equivalent. While the Lord asks every worthy, able young man as part of his priesthood responsibility to prepare for and serve a mission, we reiterate the missionary service remains an optional opportunity for young women. We recognize that for those young women who desire to serve a full-time mission, the choice of age to begin service will not be the same for everyone. We extend our love to the youth of the church and commend them for their faithfulness. Cool. So, Brando, obviously the age has changed over the years in our lifetime significantly. Mm-hmm. What can you even tell us about that, bro?
Well, this is so exciting, dude. Do you remember back in 2012 when President Monson announced the age change?
I do.
And everyone in the audience visibly like gasped and stuff.
Because that was huge, going from 19. No.
It was from 21 to 19 for women and from 19 to 18 for men.
Yeah.
And that was super cool. And when I was preparing to go on a mission, I was so excited to just leave right out of high school.
Yeah.
I don't know if you did the same, if you waited a little bit, but
yeah, I went pretty close right out of high school.
Nice. Well, anyway, this has not the age change has been a thing that has happened over the years since the infancy of the church. And I think it's cool that we continue to progress in that way. For example, back in 1948, women were preferred to serve at the age of 23.
Really?
Yeah. And men required age 20 or after 2 years of college or military service.
Really?
In 1950. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting,
cool.
dude. I'm so curious, and I've tried to look this up myself to find some sort of explicit statement explaining why generally women have served at an older age.
Yeah, so
have you found anything?
So I'll talk about that in just a second. So the church has an official statement about it, and it's kind of vague a little bit. I think sometimes the church works in vagaries to just allow us to, know that it's just revelation from God. It says the church has learned from experience that there is wisdom in maintaining age difference between young men and young women who are serving missions. This was posted back in the 2012 when the 2012 announcement came. But when it talks about the difference, why the difference is, it says it's because missionary service is a priesthood responsibility for young men, but young women are encouraged to serve as soon as they feel moved to do so. So it's always been explicitly expected of young men. But as we know, it's always been an option for women. So that seems a little bit like I still don't really understand why there's an age difference, but I'll tell you a personal little anecdote.
Okay.
When I was on my mission, a 70 came to our mission. He was telling us, why is there a difference in the age of elders and sisters who can serve? And he said, well, I know this personal story of when President Monson was talking to President Eyring, and he was discussing the age change with him, potentially doing it. And as he was praying about it, seeking to know if it was right, and he asked President Eyring, will this help encourage eternal families? And President Eyring was like, yes, it will. And what he meant by that was, if you take an 18-year-old young man and you take a 19-year-old young woman and you put them on a mission, and then the young man will get home and the young woman will you'll start to see them getting home like around the same time as each other, and they'll meet each other on the missions and they'll get married. And
is he saying this to you as you're a missionary?
Yes. Yes. And so he's like, keep, I know. He's like, keep your eyes open, but keep your heart locked.
Yes. Eyes open, but heart locked. I've heard that one before.
So anyway, really interesting.
I've heard different explanations before. Like, it's better to have, the sister missionaries older than the elders to encourage like fraternization on the mission and stuff like that. I don't know really how that would work, but if we learned anything from the Adam and Eve story, women already mature faster than men, and so I don't think it's necessarily a maturity thing. Like that, that doesn't make sense.
One last thing about this, real quick, from my perspective. I think it'll be good because you see a lot of 18-year-old girls coming out of high school and going into college and then falling in love with RMs. They have plans to go on missions and then they fall in love with RMs. And you see this especially in Utah County. And then they decide not to go on the mission, which is totally fine. But I think it's so powerful that we're going to have more sister missionaries who are just ready and anxious to go, and that they won't be, withheld because they have, a year that they have to wait or something to go on a mission and then end up, marrying some RM dude.
Yeah, who knows? Positives all around. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Any hot takes out there? I don't necessarily have a hot take on this. I think it's phenomenal. I think it's great.
It's going to be awesome.
Following the Lord's final admonition in the New Testament to go ye therefore, baptizing all nations in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Ghost. It's epic. Awesome. Well, moving on to our last headline before we head into our featured story, it appears as though General Conference will be changing from here on and henceforth. Also released on the 19th of November, church increases focus on 4 daytime sessions of General Conference. It says the First Presidency of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has decided that beginning in April 2026, General Conference will no longer include a Saturday evening session.
No other explanation, just this one sentence is the whole article.
That's it. And so here's the thing. I hope they bring back priesthood and Relief Society session. That would be awesome. Well, priesthood and the general women's session. Because I just have the most fond memories of going to the priesthood session with my dad, my grandpa, my cousins, my uncles.
Me too, yeah.
Like, it was something that I look forward to every single conference. And here's the thing. If you go back and listen to a lot of those talks that were given in the general priesthood session, like, a lot of them were pretty fiery, and we were just basically men. We were just being called out for being silly a lot of times.
Because we need that.
It was good. It was good. We need to be called out on our crap. And, it's good to have general women sessions too, because they need to be told. You thought I was going to say something. You thought I was going to be. I'm falling for the trap. No, obviously men and women, I don't even know what I was saying there, but men and women, like, we're different. And I think a lot of times there's different ways that the gospel can specifically apply to our divine roles as, husbands and fathers, mothers and wives. And it was just so nice to have those more specifically tailored gospel messages to listen to. And I don't know, that was amazing.
Yeah.
It was so good.
It was. I kind of see it as cutting the church from 3 hours to 2 hours, and now we have a responsibility to fill that gap ourselves somehow. But I think it's hard because I haven't seen that filled since the priesthood session was disbanded like a few years ago. So I don't know.
Here's
how are we going to do this, gents?
here's the thing, and this might be a hot take. I want the church to, like, I want more reasons to go participate in some church-sponsored activity.
Some big unifying,
you know what I'm saying?
Manly thing.
Yes, like, because after whatchamacallit, Boy Scouts was discontinued. It's like, now we don't have Boy Scouts, and now there's nothing that really fills its place. And yeah, with the general priesthood session, like, I don't mind. I loved it. And I don't know, maybe there's some people out there that didn't like it, but having a general priesthood session, general woman session, I don't think it's a bad idea. And I'm curious to see, because we've seen, the Saturday evening change over the last, 10, 15 years, multiple different times. So we'll see when the next change is, but I digress. Moving on to our featured story. Brandon, a new high school class is being instituted across the state of Utah. Looks like it's starting in Alpine School District. But if you want to open up that link, it says, Inside Utah's new class preparing teens for influencer careers. And honestly, let's just watch this video that explains kind of what's in this article.
Influencer marketing classes got the green light from the Utah State Board of Education last year. I'm Maya Constantino, and now those classes are popping up in schools across Utah. I got the chance to step into one of the classes to hear from the students about how they're liking it so far. Influencers aren't going anywhere.
So what's one thing you could do to make sure that social media is being used in a positive way?
And now Utah students are learning what it really takes to become one.
So I'm actually going to be internet famous. Follow Dart_Goggins_2.
Inside North Summit High School,
shout out to that kid.
Skills of how to build an online brand, understand analytics, and deciding what kinds of videos to post based on who's watching. The course is a part of Utah's career and technical education program, meant to give students skills they can actually use in the real world.
I have them create their influencer dream board. If you were to be an influencer, who would you want to be? How many followers would you have? What would your content look like?
The State Board of Education says the class is in 9 schools this school year. Rachel Rout with the Utah State Board of Education says that when she taught marketing for the Alpine School District, her students were always curious about influencers.
We wanted the class to kind of open their eyes to what the job really is.
That's why she and Richens worked together to bring the course to schools.
This is a legitimate career, and we have to start to accept it. It's not going away.
But beyond the technical skills, these students are having much bigger conversations.
That's kind of where people get like the image, and they're like, oh, I want to be like this girl I saw on TikTok. I want to be like this model I saw on Instagram. And I think that's the hardest part of like wanting to be those people. You get like jealous of those people.
We need to learn how to use it responsibly.
About what it means to stay safe online and how to navigate the mental health challenges that can come with this kind of work.
We also encourage them to always think about their own digital footprint.
In Salt Lake City, Maya Constantino, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Calm down, Brandon. Calm down. Calm down.
Okay, initial thoughts.
Okay.
For those of you out there that are like, oh, here we go, Jackson and Brandon just going to hate on the very thing that, they're benefiting off. And it's like, okay, obviously I hope anyone with a functioning prefrontal cortex can recognize the difference of what we're trying to do here, you know what I'm saying? And the term influencer is so cringe to my core to me. And here's the thing, there's a lot of things happening here, right? There are people, and I have good friends that, get brand deals and affiliate deals on social media and stuff like that and are able to, make a living and whatnot. I more see this as like a sign of just cultural decay. What do you think? I mean, I'm trying to. I feel you're getting my raw, unfiltered thoughts here. But Brando, what do you think about this?
No, absolutely. I'm going to try and play the devil's advocate because I have a massive, just detestment. Is that a word? I just detest the influencer culture of the world right now.
What do you mean by that?
Okay, first I'll just say at face value, this seems really gross and weird. If they are learning valuable marketing skills online, like I personally have an associate's degree in social media marketing and a bachelor's degree in digital marketing. So those were valuable skills. Maybe they're just calling it the influencer class to get teenagers excited, but they're actually learning some actual valuable technical and social media skills. And they're not like learning how to do like TikTok dances and stuff and what's trending. Because if that's the case, dude, that's messed up. But influencer culture, especially, in Utah, is kind of, it's really vain and worldly to me. I think there's a difference between influencers and creators. And I kind of see it as like a Nephites versus Lamanites thing. I know Jackson just talked about no manner of ites.
Some hot takes here, bro. Okay. Explain to me what you think the difference is between those two that you just said.
Okay, so for me, literally the definition of an influencer is somebody who is well known through social media and is able to promote a product or service by recommending it or using it online.
Okay.
So I see influencers as those people who don't really provide any value. They're kind of just like showing off their different brands and brand deals. They're doing kind of random things like the dances or the just like saying, having follower milestones like, let's get me to 150,000 followers or something like that. And like, that's like their thing, or just really vain. Look at me. This is how I look. I'm really hot. Stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Whereas creators are providing value that make you feel something, that make you want to be something or want to do something through like music or art or something like this show. Not trying to be biased, where we're trying to provide value for our audience. And I don't just, it's kind of, it's not super black and white. I think if you were to see an influencer online, you would know what I mean, what the difference is. And so I have a hard time with influencers because it feels so just worldly to me. Like, this is me, self-aggrandizing. It's super self-aggrandizing, and I think creators are trying to provide something that's not that.
Here's where I get concerned, is where that young girl was talking. Her quote is, that's where people get like the image and go, oh, I want to be like this girl I saw on TikTok. I want to be like this model I saw on Instagram. That's the hardest part of wanting to be those people. You get jealous. Sometimes you need to step away from social media for a couple days. The students use phones that don't have access to the internet to edit and film for the course. Okay, they don't have access to the internet to film and edit. As if that's like a, look at, we're doing something good. No, and so it's just like, it's encouraging people to look up to these internet idols on Instagram and TikTok. Quoting this girl, models you see on Instagram. And I think it's just further perpetuating this culture of, oh, my value is equal to my follower count, or people admiring just people that do dances on the internet and, pick up products and go like this and recommend products. And it's like, it's so tough. And so it's just like, I'm curious to see the long-term effects of more classes like this being instituted in high school. Like, how many people that would otherwise go into some other more, I guess, creative or more world contributing profession that forego doing that because they want to be an influencer and recommend products on the internet. I don't know. It's interesting. And if you're screaming hypocrite and stuff like that, I don't know. That's kind of why we, have our own businesses attached to this, that all our single goal is for people to come closer to Jesus Christ. right? To look at the world through a gospel lens on the stick of Joseph, to deepen your study in the gospel and to more fully appreciate the restored gospel of Jesus Christ. And so anything you find published on Plain and Precious Publishing, if it doesn't go towards that end, call us out and make an exposed video. Plain and Precious Publishing exposed video. I can't wait to see it. Hopefully that'll never happen, because honestly, everything that we do is just try to point people to Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and I think I just have a bad taste in my mouth, because there's a lot of, even in the church, there's a lot of influencers, not creators, coming out and saying that that's their mission, and then they do things like rent out the garments or cut off the sleeves of their garments, or not wear their garments at all, and slowly start to drift into this worldly persona. And I think that's kind of the danger of being an influencer, because I think that you're actually the one being influenced more than you're doing as far as influencing.
Yeah, it's hard. And I guess the only real scriptural tie-in that comes to my mind, and maybe in the comments if you have another one, in the early days of the Nephites being in the New World, when they split off from the Lamanites, because the Lamanites wanted to kill the Nephites, and it says that Nephi, in verse 14 of 2 Nephi chapter 5, it says, "And it came to pass that we began to prosper exceedingly and to multiply in the land. And I, Nephi, did take the sword of Laban, and after the manner of it did make many swords, lest by any means the people which were now called Lamanites should come upon us and destroy us. For I knew their hatred toward me and my children, and they were called my people. And I did teach my people that they should build buildings, and that they should work in all manner of wood, and of iron, and of copper, and of brass, and of steel, and of gold, and of silver, and of precious ores, which were in great abundance. And I, Nephi, did build a temple." And so he just outlines how he teaches his people to be industrious, to build, to create, to be productive. And then fast forwarding on to verse 27, it says, "And it came to pass that we lived after the manner of happiness." It's super tough, bro. It's super tough, because I agree with you in a lot of ways that the influencer culture is very vain in and of itself. Like, you see those kids, they made those posters of how many followers they want to have. And to me, I can't see a teenage girl taking a class like that, making a poster of how many followers that she wants to have, because then she'll be successful, then not immediately getting sucked into comparison and valuing herself or himself. For a young teenage boy, valuing themselves off of their follower count or how many brand deals they get and stuff like that. I don't know. It's tough. It seems very vain to me, but I love the pattern in which Nephi lays out of teaching his people to be industrious, to create, to build, and that is associated with living after the manner of happiness. If we're totally off the rails here, let us know in the comments, but I'm really curious to hear your guys' thoughts on this class. And just imagine if it becomes more and more widespread, like what kind of a society are we going to have? And it's just so funny too, because I swear, like, probably the first quote unquote influencers, I honestly think came from Utah, bro. Like, yeah. I think it kind of originated in Utah.
Absolutely. And it's
with like mommy bloggers.
Like a disease
like
here.
I don't know. I don't know, bro. Anyways, let us know your hot takes in the comments.
And if you're an 18-year-old young woman, instead of becoming an influencer, go serve a mission.
Go serve a mission. And then sell your soul to the internet. No, just kidding. All right, we're going to end off on an interesting note here. We're going to do a little reaction here. And Brand, I don't know. Did you watch this video that I sent you?
No, I try not to watch them so that I can have a raw reaction.
I'm excited to see Brandon's reaction. We're going to do a little reaction video to end the show off today. And Brandon, please pull that up for us. I think this is going to be fun.
My name is Candy Von Sparkle, aka Christopher. My pronouns are he, she, and they. Please join me responsibly in a call to worship. Source of life, in the beginning, you made us and called us beloved. When we forget how to love, you remind us to do our beloved. When the powers of the world try to oppress us, your name is beloved. When our siblings in faith condemn us, you claim us beloved. We are your beloved. So today, sing your praises, source of love. Let us pray. Friends, I see the image of God in you. You are beloved, holy, and liberating one. Gather us into your presence and remind us who we are, made in your image, held in your love, and called to walk in the path of life. In a world that distorts your truth, root us in courage, ground us in grace, and prepare us for what love requires of us. Amen. Good morning.
That's AI generated, right?
I double checked. It is not AI generated.
Really?
I kind of have no words except for 2 Timothy chapter 3.
Which is actually listed in the caption of this Instagram
really?
post.
Is it actually?
Yeah, I'm not even kidding. Look, check it out. Oh, wait, no.
Oh my gosh. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. Okay.
I don't know if it's the same verse you were going to share.
The verse
but
that I'm going to see is
it's not as good as
verse 5. Having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, from such turn away. I don't know. That, I'm just so speechless after seeing that. I'm so speechless. May God bless those people and those people at that church, that they maybe try out another church. But may God bless them. And may Jesus come back soon.
Amen.
Anyways, hopefully you have a great Monday. We're excited to be back this week. We got a lot of fun stuff planned for this week. But remember, if you're not looking at the world through a gospel lens, you're only getting half the story. God bless you.